Secretary of Education Arne Duncan, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, and we were discussing during almost an hour and a half the importance and the urgency of investing in early childhood development strategies. I would like to share with you why I'm so passionate about ECD and why I advocate for it. I've been working in education since I was 18, and since then I, through my own foundation in Colombia, started to build schools in areas where there's extreme poverty and conflict and violence. And we've worked with children who belong to families that have been displaced by violence, families that have lost everything they had, basically they're refugees in their own country. And we have been able to impact 60,000 people, eliminated malnutrition in the children that we offered in education. Local gangs disbanded from the area, and we were able to bring electricity and potable water and even pave roads in combination with the local government, because this is how we work in our schools in Colombia, with always partnering with the local government, so they do their part of the job. And we have been very successful bringing quality education to thousands of kids in Colombia. However, not everything has been a path of roses. We had tremendous difficulties in order to provide quality education. It has been a process of trial and error. And we were at some point having a really hard time trying to keep kids in school, because some of them had never received proper care, nutrition, and stimulation in those first 5 years of their lives. So they weren't prepared to learn and to absorb the information. And that's when we realized that we were getting to these kids too late. And that's when I was introduced to research on ECD and the astonishing advances in neuroscience that blew my mind, and that show how ECD programs affect the developing brain of a child. And, of course, from that moment on, that became a priority to us in our foundation, and that made all the difference in the world. It really did. So I was, of course, fascinated by all the striking information that I was stumbling across, but also it was fascinating to me to see how investing in ECD actually amplifies to the rest of society, because investing in ECD boosts economic growth, it offsets inequality, and it helps eliminate crime and violence. So it really works, and it is, without a doubt, the most effective way to guarantee a more stable world, a more peaceful world, and a more prosperous world. But we need more commitment, and that's why we're here this week, and that's what we're here for today. It's a matter of putting children at the center of the social and economic and political debate, and their needs. Children's basic needs, such as care, nutrition, stimulation, need to be a priority, need to become a priority over any other human investment. And countries need to dedicate more of their GDP spend towards ECD initiatives and towards ECD strategies all over the world. And also, the private sector needs to pick up where governments leave off. It's the only way. Private sector and public sector have to work together as a team, because ECD is that kind of challenge that has to be met only through a joined-up approach. Otherwise, we fail. It is the most urgent thing that lies, the most urgent responsibility that lies within our hands. From an economic perspective, it is important, sure. It is very important because of all of these points that we have been exposing before. It boosts economic growth of nations, and of course we all want that. But take that to a human level, and the case becomes so much more stronger, because money isn't everything in the end. But investing in our children and in the future of our society is. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the United Nations Correspondents Association, thank you for this press conference. And I want to ask Ms. Shakira, as a Lebanese, as a Colombian with a Lebanese roots, or as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, you are witnessing, like everybody, a crisis in Syria and the refugee around in the countries around Syria and beyond. This is the worst place on our planet for children nowadays. When you please tell us, how do you think about this issue? What message you want to convey to the Pope who's coming in a few days here, to the world leaders who are coming here, to just reduce the suffering of the Syrian children? And would you mind telling us what song do you sing for your kids? Milan and Isobel, I think.
Sasha.
Sasha, sorry.
Yes, Sasha.
Sorry. What is the song? And would you like it at some point to sing it for the Syrian children? Thank you.
It is, without a doubt, one of the greatest humanitarian crises of our time. And the image of that little boy washed up on the shore is a tragic one, and one that we shouldn't ignore and shouldn't forget. And it should humanize the plight of the refugees, because children should not pay the price of war, and because all of us have a responsibility today, and we cannot escape it. Not the leaders of the world, and not us as civil society. We need to come together, and we need to demand a just exit to this humanitarian crisis. Because the refugees deserve to have a home, and I know that there's a lot of racism underneath it all. And I know that there are also concerns. Every country has concerns about their own economies, but I only hope that sometime soon we can have a world where human needs and human rights rise above flags and borders and numbers and selfishness and racism. Because I'm sure it's not an easy problem to resolve, but I'm also sure that nations coming together could find an intelligent way, an intelligent solution to this issue, this urgent issue. In the name of Aylan Kurdi and Galib Kurdi, those two boys who lost their lives. And the song, well, every time I think of the Kurdi brothers, I think of the lyrics of that John Lennon song, Imagine. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Why can't we share all the world? What's holding us back?
Beautiful. I was hoping you would sing.
You wanted me to sing?
Just two bars, just two lines.
I would sing. I'll probably sing it soon.
Please, please.
1 minute. This is for the children of Syria and all the suffering children
Please.
around the world.
Imagine all the people sharing all the world.
To add a couple of numbers there. there are 2 million children inside Syria out of school. There are almost countless children outside Syria who have witnessed the most unspeakable horrors. And to bring it back to what we were discussing earlier, the effects on them of the youngest children, of the development of their brains, on the older children who think it is somehow normal that you should hate people simply because of their religion or their background, that unspeakable violence is just a normal thing that happens. How are they going to act when they grow up? All of this means that a generation from now, those same hatreds and that same conflict can be with us unless we do more to intervene in the lives of those children, including the very youngest, for the sake of their future and for the sake of Syria.
Thank you. Pamela Falk from CBS News. And first, wow, so thank you. The follow-up to Ali's question on migrants. You are singing in the bridge following Shakira, the Pope. What will you sing, and what is your message, since he is directing a certain message to the Latino community and migrants? And to Dr. Shankoff and Mr. Lake, what are you doing in this migrant crisis as UNICEF? I mean, I know you're doing a lot, but can you do more? Thank you.
Well, I would like to sing Imagine. And I know that he defends the poor, and is one of his plights. But we all know that violence is the result of inequality, and inequality is the result of the lack of opportunities. And what better opportunity than education to all? That every child in the world has an opportunity to learn so they can be better prepared to enter school later on and to succeed in life when they become adults. Socially adjusted children grow into productive adults. And this is how it later on amplifies into the rest of society. So we cannot just be reactive. We have to be proactive. We cannot just look at today's greatest problems individualistically, separately, as if they weren't interrelated, as if they existed in a vacuum. We have to solve our greatest problems upon that cornerstone that should be education for all. So that's what I would like to say to the Pope as well, if I had the chance, because we do need more leaders to make this issue their own. And he's one of the most heard voices in the world, and we know that there are many people around the world whose voices are never heard. So we do need political and social leaders and business leaders and religious leaders out there to really prioritize children's needs, especially those basic needs that they need to cover in the first years of their lives. Bueno, en español, sé que la causa del Papa está asociada con la causa de los pobres, pero sabemos que la pobreza es el resultado de la inequidad, y la inequidad es el resultado de la falta de oportunidades, y todo esto genera violencia. Es que no hay violencia en los países en los que todos reciben igualdad de oportunidades, como por ejemplo los países escandinavos. ¿Por qué no hay violencia allí? Porque hay una igualdad de oportunidades. Y para mí, bueno, y está demostrado también para mis colegas aquí, que la educación es esa oportunidad esencial y la más efectiva para poder lograr un mundo en paz, un mundo próspero, económicamente próspero, pero también un mundo estable. Y eso yo creo que es todo lo que queremos. Entonces yo le diría al Papa que también sume su voz a esta causa de la educación, esta causa por los niños, puesto que creo que es fundamental para acabar con la pobreza en el mundo, para erradicar.